Welcome to PixelCraft Spotlight, where we showcase some of our favorite pixel artists and 8-bit crafting enthusiasts.
That's right, Isaac. And today we would like to introduce Adam Shub, aka Squarepainter, an absolutely prolific pixel-style canvas painter, and even the occasional skateboard. Adam, welcome to the show.
How's it going, guys? Thank you for having me on this episode. I really appreciate you guys reaching out to me on Instagram.
So, just as a standard opener here, before we get into projects and the like, what would you say is your favorite video game of all time?
Earthbound for Super Nintendo. When that game came out in '95, I was really into JRPGs on the Super Nintendo. Like it was like a really big escape for me. When I was 14, I was this really shy, weird, lonely kid, and just the aesthetic and especially the humor and everything, the way Earthbound like kind of looked at the world, just really resonated with me. And that game just helped me get through my early teenage years. It's a fantastic game. I played through it more times than I can count. I love that there's a big fan base for it now, and people just equally love the game too. I still actually have my original game cartridge. I don't have my original save file though. I wish that I did, because me and my younger brother, like, we switched off and played through the game the first time, and when you put your name in for defeating Gygas, it was Adam and my younger brother Ian, so it was Adam and Ian that we put in there, so I found that to be very special. So yeah, Earthbound, that will always be my number one choice for my favorite video game.
Now, I've gone through your Instagram page extensively, and safe to say, I'm blown away by not just the quality, but the quantity of your work. It's tough for me to pick one, but what do you think is your favorite project that you've ever worked on?
The big Mega Man 9 piece of Mega Man, Rush, and Beat in front of the cityscape. It was the first 4-foot by 2-foot that I did back in, I would say, 2008, when I was really like building the Squarepainter brand, I would say. That was the first really big painting that I did that showed me that I could do larger scale paintings and really make something of this. But some of the other ones that I've done more recently that I absolutely love, especially, being quarantined with coronavirus, of course the Earthbound piece that I did of Gygas, and then the 4 kids and the robots, when your brains are put into the robots, and Pokey is coming down in his little spider machine. I love that one. And I was very proud of the Axel versus Shiva fighting in front of Mr. X, the end of Streets of Rage 2, because I absolutely love brawlers. Streets of Rage 2, if I really had to pick, is arguably my favorite brawler of all time. And I'd never done a painting from that game before. I only did a painting from Streets of Rage 1, the title screen, about 2 years ago. And I always wanted to do a Streets of Rage 2 piece, and I had this layout put together for years. So I figured, why not? We're quarantined inside. Now is the time to do it. So that one I was very, very proud of. I would say that's definitely my favorite piece of the later ones that I've been doing.
Would you care to let us in on maybe some projects you currently have in the works?
I always have 10 projects going right now. I'm looking around my studio and I have 3 paintings right now going. I have a Ninja Turtles piece, I have a big Street Fighter piece, and I have one from Sunset Riders. I've never actually painted something from that game. So I have those 3 going right now. I am always coming up with new ideas. I'll be working on something at 2 o'clock in the morning, and something will remind me of something else, and I just stop and I put together one idea, and then that turns into 5 more ideas. Or I get an idea for the new skateboards that I've been doing. I start messing around with that, of logo ideas for games, and that becomes 10 new skateboard ideas. So it's always something. My brain never stops with the pixel art and coming up with fresh ideas for video games. I always wonder, and people wonder too, like, oh, are you gonna ever run out of ideas for this? And like, I've been doing this for 10 years professionally, and I haven't gotten bored of it yet. And like I said, my brain never stops. I'm always constantly churning out the ideas. So that's what's coming up in the works next.
So myself and Isaac, I'm sure along with countless other people, are huge fans of the angry video game nerd James Rolfe. And you collaborated with him and some other guys from Cinemassacre on a song, on a music video called Mighty Wings and Hadoukens. How did you come to meet James?
So I originally met James back in 2009 or 2010. He was doing an autograph signing at a store called Digital Press in Clifton, New Jersey. I was living in New York at the time, and I used to go there all the time. And so he was doing an autograph signing, and the owner Joe asked me, "Oh, hey, can you come help out and just help with crowd and stuff like that, and we'll get to hang out." And of course, like everybody else, I was I loved AVGN. I was watching all that stuff. I was active on Screw Attack, like in game trailers, like we all were back then. So I got to met James and his wife April and Mike. So they were just hanging out in the store, and it was really crowded that day. Like the line was like hours and hours long, and nobody expected this. So I just helped out with the crowd all day, and helped them out. It was cool hanging out with people like that. I love your videos online, and it's great to actually meet. So we got to hang out that day. We had dinner that night. It was really nice. So we met then, and then once I started doing more and more conventions, that James and Cinemassacre would be at a lot of them too. So like anything, you see the same artists, YouTubers, content creators at these shows. So we just became friends over the years. We would occasionally we'd hang out at stuff like that. We'd go to after parties at conventions and things. And before I was a painter, I played guitar, I played bass, was heavily involved in the punk and the hardcore scene back then, like way before I was doing this in like the 90s and early 2000s. And James mentioned, oh yeah, I play guitar, I play drums. So we always threw the idea around, oh, wouldn't it be fun to play music? And I guess, let's see, last year around in Portland, Cinemassacre was out there with all the other guys, with Justin and Kieran, all the guys that are on Rental Reviews, and I've been friends with both of those guys well before they were even involved with Cinemassacre. I've been friends with them for like 10 years also, because they were all in the convention scene. So we were all just hanging out, like, hey, you know what? Let's do this. Let's start writing music. And then again, coronavirus hits. We're all stuck inside. So we started writing music in April. We started working on the Mighty Wings Hadouken song. And it started as just a small collaborative effort, and we had a whole bunch of other people come on. And me and James were just texting back and forth with a million ideas for songs. We have a huge list. Again, I guess with all creatives, our brains never stop working. We're always coming up with new ideas. He'll text me at 2 o'clock in the morning with some crazy idea or some riff that he threw together, and I'll text him back with like some bass that I threw together. And I guess as far as working on other projects, this isn't really a project. This is just a band that we're in. So we're going to be putting out more songs. We have another idea that we're working on now. We're in the preliminary stage of putting it together. And I don't know, if James ever asked me to do anything else with Cinemassacre or any videos, yeah, sure, I'd be down for that. But for now, it's just friends playing music. It's a lot of fun to be involved and to be working with so many other creative people. So that's how I met James originally, and yeah, it's just very cool working with him, and he's an awesome guy and a good friend.
Well, that's all the time we have today. Let's hear it for Squarepainter.
Thank you so much for having me on.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Well, good night, everybody, and until next time on Pixelcraft Spotlight.